Take two. We're here. We're live. Well, this is recorded, but me and this guy are live for yet another episode of Laying It Down with Big D, which we've got two more of until LAN. We've got this one, which I'm recording today, Saturday. We're going to grip it and rip it and ship it live as well later on. But today I've got North American Counter-Strike LAN legend and Faceit cheat. Well, he doesn't work for Faceit. Vigilante cheat detective, baloney eater. I think it's 79 if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yeah.
There could be more. It is 79. Though he doesn't really eat bologna. We'll talk about that too, but we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. I've got, and now also playing for Regain as a sub during ESL Challenger League. I've got Eric Spud Wickenhauser here with me. How are we doing today, Eric?
I'm doing great. I appreciate the intro. It makes me feel like royalty.
The second time as well, because we recorded these first 2 minutes and then I realized my microphone was not working. So, yeah, well, dude, I'm glad you're here, and I'm happy we get to hang out and yap about the Eric lore here, because I've been excited to talk to you, especially with the cheat detective stuff that you've been doing. That's high quality work, and frankly, I think it's enough of the crying out there. Let's take some action and do something for our community instead of just sit around and complain about it. But anyway, Eric, let's get right into it. We're gonna go back in time here. You were starting to tell me before I rudely cut you off, but and told you the mic wasn't working. But now we are live. What are your earliest memories of gaming, and how did those lead you to Counter-Strike?
So I think the earliest memories I have of gaming were watching my uncle play Guitar Hero when I was younger, and I was amazed at like the fact that he was doing like rhythm stuff with like both of his hands. So that immediately I was like pretty interested in that. I watched him play like Halo and stuff too, but then he let me play, and boy, I was horrible at that game at the start. But then I got pretty good, and then I got to a point where I was like, all right, I need to be better than him because he was pretty good at that shit. So then once I got to that point, I was like, okay, that was fun. Like I got really good at this thing. I like getting really good at things apparently, which is something I learned when I was like 6 or 7 with this Guitar Hero stuff. And then fast forward to like 2012, and my uncle got me Counter-Strike, the same uncle that I played Guitar Hero with. And he played Invite and Source. So we've got like sweaty Counter-Strike playing in the family. So yeah, and that got me into CS. So
Your uncle played Invite and Source?
he was teammates with Steve, like Sasquatch.
I was just gonna ask, did he know Sasquatch?
Yep. Yeah.
So have you known Steve longer than outside of Frag? Like, did you know Steve before Frag, or was that just a weird coincidence that your uncle had been teammates with him?
I knew the name, but I didn't actually like know him. So when I went to the first Frag, which I think was it's either like one of the smaller like St. Louis frags, or it was like a Philly frag or something. But when I was talking to him, he like introduced himself as Sasquatch. I was like, oh, I'm Keith's nephew, and he was like, oh my god, I'm so old. And it was a very funny interaction. But it was really cool because he's known Steve and Ed for like 15 plus years, so it's cool.
That is cool as hell. And he got you into Counter-Strike then?
Yeah, he saw me playing like some like flash shooter, and he was like, hey, you should play a real game, and he bought me Counter-Strike and had me make a Steam account and stuff. So
Was that CS:GO or CS Source when you started?
it was Go. It was a few months after Go officially released, and it was in a pretty weird state. But when you're like 12, you don't know that. So I was just like, oh, this is cool. Like, I've never played anything that's like this. It was the first, like, actual FPS I ever played.
Right. It was in a weird stage for people that, like, knew Counter-Strike already. If you had never played Counter-Strike and it was your first time ever playing Counter-Strike, you're just like, wow, Counter-Strike is fucking cool. Like,
Yeah.
this is rad. I see what everybody's talking about, even if you're not understanding of all the little nuances that have changed from Source to CS:GO. But so you've been around since the earliest days of Go.
Yeah, I didn't really play anything like competitive until like 2019, 2020. Um, I didn't even really play ESEA, I don't think. I think I maybe had it for like a month or two, when I was like 15 or 16. And it was like fun, but I was never real committed to like trying to get better at this game until like 2019, 2020 probably.
So what was that? Uh, what kind of role did Counter Strike play in your life up until that point? Like, what were you heavily playing Counter Strike still, or was it just something you played every great once in a while and
I'd
never
still play
cared
most
about?
days probably. Like I'd still probably play like 4 or 5 days a week or something like that. But it was just like messing around with my friends from school and stuff. Like playing like surf, like playing B Hop, KZ, all that stuff. I never really took getting better seriously. I always was kind of like a little bit competitive, but I was doing like high school sports and club sports and stuff. So I got most of my competitiveness out through like that outlet. So then CS was kind of just like a for fun thing.
That makes sense. Well, then what did you follow like professional Counter Strike? Were you aware of like esports as you were like growing up at that time?
Yeah, I always have kind of like followed it passively. Like I wouldn't even really watch that many games, but like I would just listen to like any like talk to Thorin videos where it's like, him interviewing a pro player. Like I always liked hearing from pro players, even if that wasn't something I saw myself doing, right? So
Well, what changed in 2019? How did you decide, all right, this is it. I'm going to start competing.
uh
Take us from there up to when you got to where you are now playing with Regain.
yeah. It's actually a really strange way of getting into competitive. I got called out of my Spanish class down to the guidance office by my counselor. And he was like, "Hey, somebody told me you're pretty good at Counter-Strike." And I was like, "What is this interaction? Like what's going on?" And he was like, "We're starting an esports program here and we want you to like lead our Counter-Strike team." And I was like, "Okay, that's interesting. I'll think about it." And then I asked like my friends who played Counter Strike at school, and all of them were in. They just didn't tell me. And I was like, "Oh, wait, it's like that? Okay, I'm in." So then we played the high school league for like 2 seasons, and like I wasn't spending like that much time really trying to like improve individually. I was kind of just like playing to play. And then when that ended, because I graduated high school in 2019, when that ended, I was like, "Damn, maybe I want to keep doing that, but I don't know how to keep doing that." So then I got onto like ESEA and was playing like open with some like random friends I met in pugs, and I think from there I kind of just slowly moved my way up the leagues. I've never been the most consistent competitor though. Like I think I've played 6 seasons total where I've practiced between 2020 and now. So really not that much. I've kind of just been pugging more than anything, but I think over time if you play and you're like actively paying attention to what you want to get better at, you will just get better whether you're playing Team CS or not. I just think Team CS is a way more streamlined way of getting better, and I definitely think if I wanted to go pro, that I should have been competing the entire time. I should not have been taking breaks for like random stuff. So, but yeah, now playing with Regain just for the ECL Cup. We just got knocked out by Marsborn like 3 days ago.
Damn.
We almost 2-0'd them, dude. That was actually pretty close. They played well though. They really rallied on Inferno and kind of shit on us. So
They're a very disciplined team. Like watching them play, I cast their game against Chicken Coop the other day, and they were just a very disciplined team. Like I'm like, okay, why is this team not playing more tier one CS? Like these guys kind of look like a tier one team when they play at times, but I imagine it probably isn't as consistent as they would like it to be. Otherwise, they probably would. But yeah, to be able to take a team down like that, almost is no small feat. Especially when a team's playing with a sub, it's not even like a fully fleshed out roster that you're playing on.
Yeah.
Is this your first time playing an ECL?
No, I played earlier this year. It wouldn't like show up on my HLTV because when you forfeit your ECL season mid-season, they just mark all the games as 13-0s and get rid of the match pages, which really
Oh, you were
sucks.
on lag.
Yeah, I was playing with lag. I guess I'm not really complaining because like it made my rating jump up by like zero point 0.1 because we played so fucking bad in the first season this year. But yeah, you can't like see it, but if you go to like my Faceit, you can still see all the games. I played I think we played like 20 maps or something in ECL before we just kind of died because we weren't practicing and we were just playing pretty horrible. So
Yeah, what happened with lag earlier this year?
it was kind of weird. We started off like okay, so Experative, he got the invite of like, hey, your roster can actually play ECL because some team died. Like literally
Right.
24 hours before the roster lock. So he was like, oh shit. Oh, we got a friend joining us. Um
Yeah, we've got two here. The
oh, that's
dog's right
awesome.
there as well.
That's awesome. I should have gotten in my bed for this. Basically, we threw together a roster with like 24 hours to go. I was literally like on a road trip driving when I got the like text that was like, "Hey, play ECL." Um, we practiced for like a week, and then somebody left and somebody joined, and I think we maybe played like two more scrims after that for the next like 2 or 3 months. And the thing is, like, that just isn't gonna be enough when you're not like already a team with top ECL players. Like, you're just gonna get smashed every game. And I don't know, the org just deserved better than that because Lag's like a pretty legit org. Like, I have nothing but love for like everybody at that org, and I think they kind of just deserved a lot better than a team that was kind of phoning it in for like 2 months. So
Yeah, well, now they definitely have that. They picked up that Vagrants roster and seem to be doing all right in the last month or two. And yeah, I agree. I got to meet Nick finally in Canada at Frag 19, and he was just as wonderful and pleasant and kind as he was in like messaging him over the last like year or so. So it was a bummer to see what happened to them earlier this year. But yeah, it's whatever happens, right? I mean, there's always a roster shuffle happening in this region as well.
yeah, yeah, and I think that like I still learned quite a bit that season, even if we just got smashed a bunch. Like when we went to LAN, we finished like top 4 at that Philly frag. So it's not like it was like a total wash. Like I still had some like fun games playing with them. So I don't know. It was tough. Like trying to get better in like roles you've never played when you're not practicing. Like you don't get any reps on them. It's just really tough. So
What's that like? Do you feel like that's a pretty defined thing as you move up in ranks or like up in leagues of Counter Strike? Man, I moved the iPad around and he's like, no, 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 I have got to be in front of this. Uh, do you notice that there's like more definitive roles that people are playing as people go up? And what are those roles? I don't even know what the defined. I mean, I know what an entry and a lurk and an op is, but
yeah,
what I guess, and there's support roles as well.
yeah.
But
I think CT roles were the harder thing for me. Um, Basically like every team I've played on, I've kind of just filled, but I usually end up playing like rotation spots. Usually not like star spots necessarily, but like secondary rotation spots. So like a lot of the roles that like Spinks plays, for example. Um, I think part of why slotting in with this regain team was actually so good is because most of the roles that I was playing are like exactly the roles I want to play. Um, but I do think when you're moving up, you sort of realize that like you will get exposed for playing a spot badly a lot more the second a team has any kind of structure. So I think playing anchor spots when you've never really played anchor spots, for example, like Anubis A, I'd never played there in my life. That took me, 10 plus demos, a lot of reps to like feel comfortable on. By the time we went to LAN, that was like my favorite CT spot to play. So, like you get better at it over time. but not scrimming on it makes it a lot slower, right? Like it's a way more streamlined process if you can scrim Anubis every night for a week, right? You get a lot of reps dealing with teams taking that space from you. On T side, it's like, lurk, op, entry, pack rifles. It's a lot less set for T sides in this game because I feel like a lot of rounds end up with, we wait till a minute and then we all group somewhere, right? So that the roles mostly affect early round stuff on T side at this point, I feel like, but yeah.
So do you feel like it's harder to play some of those anchor positions because of the fact that like when you go to play that and you've not played it before, you're gonna play your like normal default positions and those will always immediately be like flushed out on an execute, or what makes playing an anchor role so hard?
I think playing anchor roles is a lot more annoying than playing rotator roles for me because you have to be a lot more patient. Like a lot of anchor spots are jump spot with a smoke, jiggle with a smoke, right? Um, I want to go run at people and kill them, at least to some
Yeah,
extent.
same.
And I don't know, it's really hard to like you have to understand the push and pull of utility a little bit better in anchor spots too. Like Anubis A, for example. Like I know that's not in the pool, so maybe that's not the best example, but like when they throw the lurk smoke for A main, you have to either counter smoke and play in front, or you have to give that space up and then understand that you're really susceptible to an execute. So like you have to play a certain spot where, like you said, you're not just gonna get flushed out, right? So I think for me, anchor spots are tougher because they require more thought for me. Like rotator spots are a lot more natural. They all just make sense, and maybe that's just an experience thing. But I think on like there was like a talking counter episode with Elige, and he was talking about like personalities fitting in roles. Like if you're like a quiet person and you just kind of want to like chill when you play and like not say that much, anchoring makes more sense for you. But I am not really like that, so I want to like run around and like be loud and stuff. So
I know that feeling. All right, well then, yeah, good. I know not to play an anchor role because I'm the same way.
yeah,
I want to get active and push underpass every single round on CT side Mirage. You
uh-huh.
know, I, I'm that guy. Well, that's sick, dude. I appreciate you sharing all that with us. I wanna ask you how you got in. How you got? I know it started fairly recently, right? With the cheat detective business. Is that?
Yeah, that started this year,
Uh,
like March.
yeah, that started this year. Well, how did you get started in it? And yeah, what's your process for finding somebody to target? Is this just somebody? Yeah, I'll let you talk. Okay.
Yeah, so I started in March with this, or maybe like February. I know sometime earlier this year. And basically, I just saw so many people talking about like, oh, these people are cheating. These people have 500 games and they're, 180 hour average. They're 3.2k elo with, 400 matches or whatever. That doesn't make any sense. And honestly, out of my own curiosity, I kind of just wanted to watch their demos, but I thought to myself like, I know I'm not the only one who wants to watch their demos. So I'll stream it, at least just for like my friends that are interested. And the first time I did that, I got like way better numbers on Twitch than I typically would get. Um, and I think it's just because so many people in the community are interested in this kind of thing. Everybody who pugs a lot, like, will recognize most of the names that I'm watching. Um, I'll get people DMing me now, and they're like, "Hey, watch this guy," and I'm like, "This guy is level 8. I'm never gonna get in a game with him. I don't care. Like, I don't want to see this. You know? It's like I'm looking at like level 10s, like people I'm getting into games with, right? So I think as far
People
as
that are
selecting,
likely going to be pretending to be really good in a league match as well, potentially, not
yep,
random level 8 that's trying to fucking hang with his
yeah,
friends or whatever reason.
yeah, and I think another reason that it's so hard to like make determinations about whether or not someone's cheating just from being in the game is because like you don't know what info they have. But then when you watch from their POV, occasionally like I'll watch something and I'm like, dude, that guy had to have been cheating the way he killed me. And then I'll watch the demo back and it's like, oh, like his teammate spotted me or something from like I'm in con and his teammate spotted me from underpass, so he cleared me from cat like perfectly or something, you know? It's like sometimes you get that perspective, but other times you see it from their POV and you're like, No, yeah, I was right. That doesn't make any fucking sense. There's no way that he knows I'm there, right? So I think I did it for myself, honestly, just like wanting to see if people were cheating. But quickly it became a thing where like after the first stream, I was getting a lot of messages that were like, "Okay, when's the next one? Here's a list." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean,
Here's a list.
I know 4 of the 5 names on the list, and I think 3 out of the 5 of them are sus. So like, sure, yeah, we'll do it." And yeah, that's really how I got into it, and it seems to be going pretty well. I can't do it too often though. Like, I honestly don't want to do it more than once a month. Because if I do it more than once a month, it's just like at that point it's just like way too witch hunty, and it already kind of is. Just like, I'm watching the demos looking for someone cheating. Like I'm already kind of, assuming some guilt when I'm watching the demo, right? But I'm trying not
Right.
to. I'm trying to be as objective as possible with it. But if I do it once a week, it's like then I'm just spam watching demos and fucking putting on my tinfoil hat and turning into fucking Dan M from 2015. So
Dude, shout out Dan M.
truly a pioneer in the
We need,
space. He paved the way for
dude,
me.
we need, he paved the way for you. He needs to come on laying it down and explain himself, dude.
Yeah, he
I
does.
want to know if that guy was legitimately accusing Stewie of cheating.
Yeah, I truly don't know if it was a bit or if he's serious to this day, but mine's not a bit. I'm serious, so.
No, I know yours isn't a bit. That's why I'm like, man, this is good work that you're doing. And every time I've watched it, if it makes you feel any better, it feels like you're being objective. Obviously, there's a part of you that knows that the people tuning in, you've got a mob now that they're the witch hunters looking for get the cheater, like
Sure.
that. There's that part that you're cognizant of. But I've tuned into a couple of these and lurked quietly, and it feels like you're being pretty objective, which is like what we need. I mean, if we don't, this is what I was talking about earlier, is we need to like have we need to have people taking action in our community instead of like, rather than running out and telling Spud to watch the demo, go watch the demo yourself and like learn to identify what these things do. Because on top of everything, I bet you probably don't want to be known, like exclusively be streaming you watching demos as a
Yeah.
content creator, because that would get boring really quickly, I feel like.
Yeah, and I like watching like pro games, but I don't want to watch cheater demos 24/7. Like most of the time that I'm streaming, I just want to play and like chill after work, right? So
That's how I feel. I'm like, I thought about coaching earlier this year as I was like getting to know some of these teams and like thinking, oh man, I know some stuff about Counter Strike. I could help out or whatever. And then I'm like, man, that's just sitting and watching demos a lot of the time though. That sounds awful. I'm not into that at all. I want to play the game. That's what I like. Like, I want to help the community at this point because I'm not going pro.
right.
And when I'm not doing that, I want to be playing the game, not watching demos or doing God knows what else.
Yeah,
So I feel you, dude.
I coached for a month or so. I just coached like my friend's impact team, in like early 2023, I think, and it was fun, honestly. Like I enjoyed it, but by the end, like when the team died, I was kind of like, damn, I got a lot more free time to play now. I kind of like that as opposed to watching. Like, don't get me wrong, I had a good time coaching, and like I think I taught everybody on that team quite a bit, but it was just it's a lot of sitting and watching, and like I would sit and watch and just like take notes, and it's really easy to lose motivation for watching and taking notes when you just want to play. So I think like it takes a very specific kind of person to want to coach. Like most of the coaches I know don't really play. Like Axe would be like the exception. Like he actually plays and he coaches. There are not that many people like him, like Axe and Daps. I can't really think of any other examples of like coaches who actually play. So
The only other one I can think of is the formerly Supernova Comets rosters coach. Well, they're now Shimmer, but Ink from that lineup. He's played as well for several years, but he's always just played in advance. So, but I know he's interested in playing at some point. But yeah, I feel like it does take a specific type of person who understands the game at a high level, but like doesn't, but gets more enjoyment, not doesn't enjoy playing it, but gets more enjoyment out of the like note taking and like,
Yeah.
I don't know, watching the bigger picture and fixing those kinds of mistakes rather than being in the trenches.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not built for that. That just isn't for me, I don't think. So
Not yet. You're young. Could be someday.
yeah.
You never know.
I could see myself doing it at some point. I do think like the the reward for watching people that you're coaching improve on the things that you're telling them to improve is like that's high. Like that's why I've been doing like individual coaching like recently. It's been going good. Like I, I think it's very rewarding seeing like the message where it's like, dude, I'm up 300 elo in the past 5 days, and like I swear I would not be doing this if it weren't for your help. Like I really appreciate it. Like stuff like that is super rewarding. So I do like aspects of coaching. It's just I don't know. It's definitely very time consuming and definitely takes away from the time that you can like just play. So that's my biggest issue with it. You know.
Yeah. Well, don't waste your prime years either, because I'll tell you, once you get in your mid-30s and you realize they're gone, you wasted them, you'll be sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, uh, well, yeah, dude, like I said, I'm glad you're doing that, and yeah, we definitely don't want to market you as exclusively Mr. Cheat Detective then, but uh, that is doing the Lord's work, quite literally. I mean, it more people should be doing it. Like if you see Spud doing this and you're enjoying it, join in on the action and go do it. Be objective about it and go do it yourself. Like we don't have to wait for Valve to dispense Overwatch demos to us
Yeah.
to start cleaning up this community a little bit better. Like part of the reason that this game is so cheated in as well is because they know that they can get away with it. Like yeah. What all do you know about the cheating community from like do you ever do any research by going and looking at some of the websites where cheats are sold or downloaded or anything like that?
Not really. Like I've never actually cheated in CS ever. Um, the most I tried to do is like download a skin changer when I was like 13 and just completely bricked my computer. So I really just don't know. Like I know very little about cheats themselves, but what I feel like I can bring to the table when I'm doing these demo reviews is like I have 10,000 hours in the game. Like I know what it looks like when someone's trying to look legit, and I know what it looks like when somebody's aim looks very unnatural. Um, I think I'm honestly worse at picking out like people with something aim related. Um, because I don't know when you're trying to be objective, it's really hard to just be like, oh, this guy's aimbotting because like how unnatural could a person's aim look legit? You know what I mean? But with like radar or walls or any kind of like extra info, I feel like it's a lot easier to tell. Um, but yeah, I really don't think I've ever like delved into like I've looked at like cheating forums and stuff to like look for like names of people on them, but usually people are smart enough to not get caught from that in 2025. So, um, yeah, I haven't really looked into it though. I really don't know that much about cheats. I have somebody that's been telling me everything that they know. And like I believe most of what they're saying, but it's like I don't have any proof, so I'm not gonna like speak on that publicly. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like say all this and it just be like a random dude just in my DMs like spamming me, all this stuff that isn't even real. So
Yeah. And that's how I feel too. Is like I'm not willing to go like participate in those websites or whatever, or like glean information. Like I don't think I'm gonna glean any real information from going to those things. And even on forums, like you said, the people that are like doing it at a high level are going to be smarter than getting caught there with their name
yeah,
associated to whatever they use. And it's even more likely that there's somebody that could be pretending to be somebody else they don't like,
sure,
acting like they're downloading cheats on a cheating forum, right? So like you really can't get much out of going and trying to delve into that community other than probably being tempted to just download them yourself and see what it's all about, right? Like, you've got to wonder how many of these people in the community have downloaded these things because I really think it becomes such a problem in our community because of how many people believe there is some large chunk of cheaters out there already. And so
Yeah.
you've got to combat it with your own cheats or whatever. I
Yeah.
remember there was a time like 6, 7 years ago, I was playing in a pug and somebody on the other team started spin botting
Classic.
and somebody on our team goes, well, this is what I've got them downloaded for, and starts spin botting back at them.
Yep.
And I'm like, how many of you players have them downloaded for when you believe the other team is cheating? You're not going to get beat by a cheater. You'll just cheat yourself. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I think, because I don't know how many games I've played personally too, where like you start off and you like are just slamming them in the ground. You're like a 10-0 start
Mhm.
in 5 rounds. You're just slamming them in the ground. It feels like you can't miss a shot. And then suddenly the next round, bang,
Yep.
every single round, they know where you are and you can't get another kill. And you're like, what happened? Where did you guys just suddenly be aware of where I am at all times?
Yeah. Where
Like,
did all the talent come from? Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere. My
Yeah.
big thing, do you ever look for this? Do you ever look for this? My big thing is always I watch for the utility usage. Like if somebody I'm playing against is using a lot of utility and it's good utility, like good standard utility
Yeah.
and like well timed and everything, and they're always aware of where I am, I'm like, that's probably just a really good player
Yeah.
that's pugged a lot, right?
Yeah. So one thing that I will say, I said I didn't really know that much about cheats. One thing I know for sure is that a lot of cheats that people were using in CS2, at least at the start of CS2, maybe this isn't the case anymore, but I don't know why they'd like revert back from this, right? Like when I was playing a lot of Premier at the very start of CS2, like before Face It was really like an option. This might have even still been the beta. I don't really remember, but um, I talked to this guy like in one of my games because I was like, okay, you're cheating. He's like, yeah, totally. Like you can just see it. I'm cheating. Like obviously. He knew every nade lineup, and I was like, dude, how do you like? Why are you cheating if you know all these nades? And he's like, oh, I don't. The cheat has like spots on the wall and tells me what to do, and auto W taps the nade for me, and throws into the window smokes for me. So sometimes when people are throwing those nades, like you said, well timed. If you can tell that like when they're throwing the nades, it actually makes sense. That could be one way you could tell that like maybe they're actually just good. But I know there are actually cheats where they basically tell you how to throw the nades and even throw them for you. So that is a thing that
Wow.
exists. But I'm not assuming a
Well,
lot of
so
the people I
yeah,
watch on Face It would even have that though. You know what I mean? Like if you're playing like level 10 Face It, you have that, like get a grip, dude. Like that's for like newbie
yeah,
MM
get a
cheaters. So
grip. Seriously, like, yeah, no kidding. Well, and I mean, yeah, I guess if you have more games, a game where it's like all this utility, but like there are those games where there's a lot of utility, but you're like, wow, every single one of your pieces of utility is like perfectly placed to block people off
mhm.
that like you don't know are there, and you're like switching it up to like always put a smoke right in front of somebody's face
Yeah.
for you to cross. So like maybe that's some, yeah, that's it. That's interesting. See, these are why these conversations are important, people. Got to update why what we think people are doing. Well, we've talked a lot about these cheaters, but I don't want people to think that that's exclusively what Spud is about. We've talked about your lore. Let's talk a little more broadly about North American Counter-Strike here for a little bit.
Sure.
What what y- what and we'll talk about LAN during that, because North American Counter-Strike only exists at LAN, if you ask me. Um, Other than maybe the off-season shenanigans league right now, they're doing some good work with the online stuff, and maybe, but what complexity is gone.
Yeah.
Liquid is gone.
Yeah,
We got
it's a tough
M80
spot to
and
be in.
Wildcard.
Yeah.
It's what?
It's just a tough spot to be in for us, right? Because like who do you even think is like next up from NA? And I don't mean like the, like the JBA Lake group. I mean like under that. Like who is supposed to come up next, right? It's not that everybody's bad, it's just that there's no like defined like set of people that are like, "Oh, this person is for sure next to blow." And like the thing is also like it's so much harder in NA, and I'm sure this is a conversation that people have had already. Um, it's so much harder in NA to have work-life balance to be able to pursue CS. Like cost of living here compared to cost of living in like rural Romania or something, right? That's just like a random example, but I know that it's very different and you can dedicate a lot of time to full-time CS. Or like Finland, for example, like you can get money from the government to pursue something like that. I'm probably wording that really badly, but like there's there's basically ways for you to pursue full-time CS that you
Right.
can't do in North America unless you're very privileged, right? So I don't know. You not only have to be financially privileged, but you also have to have parents that are willing to just let you do that. And I don't know, when you get to like 24, 25 and you want to like start making money like I am, it's just not feasible for me to play competitively. Like I can't come home from work and then prac for 4 or 5 hours and then go to sleep and immediately wake up and do it the next day. You know what I mean? Like that's that suddenly becomes a 14-hour workday, and that's just not feasible. So I don't know. I think there's so many things that contribute to NA being bad, but seeing complexity leave is like it's bad. It's really bad. Like you know how when something bad's happening in like American politics that it'll be like the Domino's like activity tracker thing on Google will show that the one by the Pentagon is like maximum activity. That's how I feel when complexity leaves North America. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the worst possible scenario for NA. Like we are fucked. Um, I don't think it's totally over, but man, we got a long way to go to get anywhere near Europe. Like when events aren't in NA anymore, really. Like we have what Dallas and the major this year. That's all that's happened in NA, and that's all that's gonna happen. Like I don't know, it's just tough. I know that like they were doing like the ESL Challenger Atlanta, and that's cool. Um, but we don't have like a pro league. We don't have like the 3 week event where everybody comes here like we used to. Stuff like that. Just I don't know. It's all kind of combined to just set our region back pretty far, and I just don't know who's gonna recover it. Who's gonna carry the boats? I don't know, right? So I don't know. It's tough. I'm glad that the complexity roster instantly got picked up again. Like they didn't just disappear. Like complexity sold them to Passion or whatever. Um, it's good to see that they're not just orgless all of a sudden. They still have like org support. So like there is still org support for what M80 wildcard. Liquid's like half NA. I wouldn't even really count Liquid as NA though. Um, so really like complexities. That's three. Marsborn has like org support. Blue Jays, I believe, has org support. Um, like Lag has some org support, but like I don't know. Like I
Take flight a little bit.
yeah, like I can't even get to double digits anymore. Like that's a pretty dire situation for us to be
Right.
in, and it's been like
That's
that for the better part of this decade. So
yeah, it's been well, post COVID, we've just never recovered in NACS and I mean, I agree with everything you said, and I'm gonna carry on and hopefully give you and the people at home some hope. This is why what's happening with Frag is actually so importantly good for our region. If Frag becomes a tournament that like EU teams regularly want to come over for, and it becomes a tournament that gets bigger spectators and has a bigger budget and can do more for our region, that will bring in more of that org support again. That will bring in more of that sponsorship money. That will make other people want to put on their own LAN tournaments, like we've seen with Nostalgia up in Seattle or the Clutch or Kick in San Antonio. Like more of those areas will pop up and start wanting a piece of that pie as well. So right now we kind of all need to get behind Fragadelphia and hope to God they succeed, because they are, I don't want to paint a bleak picture, but like they are the last hope of NA, like
Yeah.
genuinely. Like all those orgs you said, they their roster has multiple their international rosters still. Like,
Yeah.
and I Blue Jays is not an NA org. That's a German organization.
Right.
Liquid is a German organization. Passion UA, that just picked up the Complexity roster, is Ukrainian based. The I don't know where M80 is. Marsborn is NA, and Take Flight as well, and Lag. But like those are, now you're starting to get into that tier 2, tier 3 set of people that aren't going to be able to like carry the flag forward on their own, right?
Right.
So really right now our main hope in this region is Fragadelphia continues to be a tournament that gets VRS status and brings big name teams to it, because we and then on top of that we get experience playing those teams when they come to our region and play on LAN, right? Like,
Yeah.
my God.
I think some of the pushback on that came from the fact that it was just like 32 slots, and then when you like did the math of it, it was like 8 or 9 NA teams for like the block, right? They expanded
Right.
it. Yeah. They expanded it
Yeah,
by
they added 16 slots. They added
okay.
an extra day of the tournament and they expanded it by 16 slots. So there's 48 teams. And three or four of those teams are qualifying for their spot through the bi-weekly Daddy Skins Cup that's happening. Daddy
Oh,
Skins is one of the sponsors for Frag.
right.
So
Yeah.
if your team wants to go to the block, there's still I think two more Daddy Skins tournaments in the coming month.
Yeah.
Like they're after, so next weekend is, there's not one tomorrow, and the next weekend is Knoxville. But then I think there's one the following weekend of Knoxville, and then one right before the weekend of Blocktober. Um, so there are still two more coming up that you can qualify for.
Right.
But yeah, they expanded it. Some more NA teams got in there. But I got to tell you, even if it's all EU teams in there right now, it's big. They might clog up one frag tournament, but like I'm willing to bet that frag Jersey one that's going to be on a new VRS cycle in November. The tickets go on sale Monday morning.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that that does not sell out like the Blocktober one did.
Yeah.
Maybe it does. I don't know.
The
But
Blocktober one was just perfectly timed for VRS for like any
right.
team
It-
that wants to get last second VRS points, they're incentivized to go. So like a lot of these European orgs flying people over, it makes total sense from their perspective. Like I don't think anybody should be like upset that like European teams are taking slots from NA, and like yeah, maybe people from NA can't go because of this. Like there are probably a lot of teams that wanted to go that can't go. Like I know at least 2 personally. But honestly, if since they expanded it by 16 teams, you had a second chance to get tickets, right? Um, I don't know. I do think it's a good thing. It's just this particular one is like about as bad of an example as it could be for somebody that wants to make the argument of like, yeah, but not that many teams could go, right? Because after the 16 team expansion, there will probably still be what like 15 or 20 North American teams. That's out of like 48. That's still not that great for an NA land, right? We're not getting that many teams that are getting the experience. So I don't know. I think there could be some kind of system where it has to be like maximum 50-50, where it's like maximum half the tickets can go to teams that are majority not from NA. So like South American teams, Asian teams, European teams, whatever. Um, I think something like that could be good, but I don't really know about the logistics of it. Like if that would even make sense. I don't know. I think for the block that would have made a lot of sense since it's right before the VRS cutoff. Um, but that also might not be allowed with VRS rules because I think you can't make certain restrictions for tournaments if they're supposed to be open entry. I think you can't do certain things like that without some kind of like VRS basis for it. I don't know. The VRS stuff is like now that I'm not competing like actively, like I haven't been on a team that's actually my team since lag. I'm so glad I don't have to think about VRS anymore, dude. Like it's just so complicated
Seems like a
and
nightmare, dude.
yeah. Messioso is a saint for, making sure he's like reading up on that stuff, all the tournament rules, all the eligibility. He's doing the vigilante justice part for VRS, and that's very necessary. I think there should be some kind of like regulatory body, honestly, that like makes things clear and more
Yeah,
spelled out. I don't know.
there does need to be, and it needs to not just be the private entity of HLTV because that's not a good enough governing body for this thing when this is supposed to be like a, a uniform rule set that's objective across all regions, right? Like we've already seen HLTV showing ton of favoritism to the EU region and covering
Yeah,
all these different tournaments to make them VRS enabled. And meanwhile, NA tournaments are following the rules to a T and then being told, "Oh, well, your tournament didn't go the way we thought it should go, so we're not going to cover the you don't have the big name teams in your game, so whatever." And it's like, well, you've got like yeah, I agree. I think there needs to be a governing body for this thing cuz
yeah,
it's
and I
yeah,
think I think
there's
HLTV means well in most cases, but man, with like sometimes like I'll be at a frag event, right? I'm like, is this getting like HLTV coverage? And like it didn't matter back then in like 2021 when I was asking about this, right? But that was just when I was like trying to get my first HLTV games, right? Um, I would ask Ed, I'd be like, hey, so like, is this getting coverage? And he's like, I don't know. Like, we'll know probably by Sunday morning when it's time for the top four or whatever. I'm like, how are how is it so hard for them to just like make the decision prior to the land based on the teams that are going? Like why does that
right.
matter? I feel like they draw lines in weird places at HLTV sometimes, and I don't know. I do think they generally
They
mean well, but
100% do.
yeah, yeah, it's
They,
it's
they I
strange.
don't think it's nefarious like you said,
Yeah,
but they are not doing due diligence for like each region outside of EU. Like they are they move the goalposts constantly
exactly.
on tournaments and it's absolutely not fair. And I know people want to be like, "Oh, well, life's not fair." Well, okay, we're trying to make a co- competition here that's got some competitive integrity here.
Yeah.
What I think we do need to make it fair. So, all
Yes.
right. Well, Spud, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think that the only other thing about the NA like kind of leaving thing is I don't remember who made this post on Twitter. I don't remember who it was. I'm blanking on the name, but basically they were talking about how losing your NA viewer base is going to be a bigger deal than people think it is for Counter-Strike. And
Yes.
if NA dies, that is going to happen. And I don't know, if it just becomes an EU only game, that's really gonna suck for like the 10 of us that are still gonna care about NACS in 10 years. So
Well, and to wrap it all in a nice little package here, I just don't think this game dies. I think that what Valve has done with CS2 with VRS is an intention to make it as long lasting as they realize people want to make it because for the last 25 years Counter-Strike has been a game that does not fucking die and somehow gets more popular as time goes on. Of course, there are a couple other big name esports titles that reach that status, but it is one of like five games out there in the world that is like elevating itself to being like up there with baseball or chess or hockey or like something that means so much to so many people and is a really community building thing, right? And so I think with Counter-Strike 2 and VRS, they are making a statement that they want to make it that much more long lasting for time to go on. But it's a huge, huge, huge project to shift this 25-year beast into its new era. There is a lot of stuff crumbling down all around us that feels like, oh my God, it's dying. But the reality is this game has been built by the people that play it the most. Like that's what makes one of these types of games so special. And these people will never stop playing it just because the tournament structure or the professional structure is falling apart. Like, Counter-Strike is one of these eternal things that is not going to die. So 10 years from now, who knows what that'll look like, but like it'll still be going in some way, shape, or form.
For sure. No, I definitely agree. This game just won't die. Like I don't. I'm sure it will someday, but I don't see it happening in the foreseeable future. It's just, will it be dead over here on this side of the pond compared to Europe? Maybe that I could see happening, but I mean, there's always going to be people that are like passionate and care in this region. Um, it's just, are they going to be able to like maintain any level of like competitiveness from NA? Because honestly, the last year has been rough trying to be an NACS fan. So
It has, and I, to bring it back to what you said, the viewers at some point they're gonna realize the viewership in NA is like maybe not there right now, but like online viewership for spectator esports, there is a massive market for it in NA, but like it's just not targeted at Counter-Strike because we don't. It's all targeted at Valorant. It's targeted at Call of Duty. It's targeted at Halo. It's targeted at Rocket League. It's targeted at fighting games. Like, not that all of those things need to stop so we can keep going, but like there is a massive market of viewership here. We just need to make our game attractive again, and constant scandals and cheaters and orgs leaving makes it hard, but I think it's all paving. I think it's gonna rise like a phoenix from the ashes in the coming years, and they call it Fragadelphia.
I think so too. I'm hoping. I'm really hoping, but I don't know. I want to believe. I know that I'm like, my inner pessimist is there, and it's like, man, it's a rough spot. But no, I do think that like entities like Frag are, you know, the life force of NA, and if they can live on, I think NA can too. So
Well, and they live on because like I'm able to say that like this game won't die and it's always going to be carried on by the people that love it because I've gotten to spend enough time around those guys in the last year
yeah,
to realize they're already doing it out of the kindness of their heart because they love the community and games so much. They're already operating at a loss over the last several years, right? They're doing it because they know how important it is to the scene. So I I I think we're gonna keep plugging away and seeing what happens, Eric.
good. That's what I like to hear.
All right, dude. Well, this has been a really good episode. I'm excited to throw this one up on the internet and let the people grip it and rip it.
Yeah, I've had fun.
Um,
This is
I
cool.
I have a couple more questions for you before we bow out of here.
Sure.
But the first question is, where does your name Spud come from? Spudomatic.
So I think I was playing like a matchmaking game in like 2018, and uh, I don't remember what happened, but I was just laughing so hard that I was like about to cry, like on the mic. And this dude that was just so beyond fried was like, dude, oh my God, you sound so like fucked up. Like you sound so like cooked. And I'm like 17. Like I was completely sober, just like giggling and shit, right? And this dude's like, bro, you sound like a little fucking like you sound so fried. You sound like a little spud or something. And I was like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. And I just made that my name. And I never changed it. Like I've always just kept it as that.
What were you going by before then?
I had a bunch of different names. I didn't really have like a set alias before then, honestly. Like it would kind of just jump around. I would just like make my Steam name something different like every week. So
Call him House of Pain because that name was jumping. It was going and having to jump around.
yeah, I couldn't settle on one thing. Like I had a bunch of different names. So but yeah, Spud is the one
Do
that I
you get?
finally settled on because I was like, that's really funny, and it's like just goofy enough that I think it fits me. So
I like it. I like that name. Well, and let me ask you this: did you get my House of Pain reference there?
oh yeah, oh I know jump around,
Okay,
I know ball.
okay. Thank God. Thank God. Well, I'm getting older, and some of these references I've started making in recent years, kids on the game are like, "What?" I'm like, "Oh no,
People in your chat are like, I don't
this
get
is
it. You're just, damn, I'm getting old. Like that's,
it's it, dude. You think it won't happen to you, and then it does, and you're like, "What the hell is this?"
yep, I'm looking forward
It's
to that.
it's it's fun. It's great. All right, Spud. I got my last question here for you.
Yeah.
If you could talk to a younger version of yourself, what is some advice you would give them? It can be Counter-Strike or esports or life or music related,
Hmm.
whatever you want. It's your opportunity to get on a soapbox and preach.
If I could have told my 12-year-old self to actually try to get good at this game, I'm pretty confident I would be like the skill level I'm at now, but like 5 years ago. And then going pro is a lot more feasible when you're like 19 compared to when you're 24, right? So I probably would have just given myself that advice because I never really took competing seriously enough to like really have like pro aspirations, but I think like I do have the talent to do it. I just didn't realize that until more recently. So I don't know. I probably would have just told myself like, hey, you should like work harder with this Counter Strike stuff if you actually want to do something with it. Um, but yeah, I don't think I would change that much about what I did, to be honest. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at in CS, where I'm at in life. So
I like that. All right, I think that's lovely advice. And yeah, don't wait don't wait, don't hesitate. Get in there and get it done. Live without fear. Although that's yours is just specifically telling you don't wait until you're 19 to start getting good at this game.
yeah, yeah, I kind of trolled
All
doing
right.
that. So
Well, everything happens for a reason, so all right, dude. This has been lovely. I've really enjoyed getting to talk to you today. And as one last thing here, just like Hot Ones, this camera, this camera, this camera. If you want to let the people know what you got going on and any shout outs or plugs, where to find you,
yeah, just
now's your chance.
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube at baloney_eater79. Um, that's pretty much where I do everything. I don't really do anything outside of that. So that's pretty much the only places you can find me. And yeah, this has been really fun. I appreciate having me on. This was a good time.
Hell yeah, dude. All right, cool. Well, hopefully I see you at LAN here soon enough. But all right, dude. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you guys at home all watching, and that is gonna be it. Let's get up here.